Transmission begins.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is the Josh Tolley Show on the GCN Radio Network.
Welcome back to the show, folks. If you want to be part of it today, 1-800-259-5791. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and, of course, the website, JoshTolley.com, JoshTolley.com. While you're there, pick up a copy. I only plug the book twice a day, so pick up a copy of Quit Your Job or Die, Discover the Importance of Self-Employment, because it is that important. Once you read that book, you are going to tell everybody you know about that book. Now, something that kind of came up over the break before I get into the topic I want to lead off this hour with, there is news that a super PAC that's linked to Karl Rove is now getting behind Mitt Romney. Okay, so not really a surprise. If there's a super PAC in the Republican Party, they were going to get behind somebody, so might as well be Mitt Romney. He's the front runner, right? Well, then there's also news that somebody who a lot of people thought might enter the race, potentially enter the race if there's an open convention, Jeb Bush. Jeb Bush is endorsing Mitt Romney. So this is what I want to tell you, all of you freedom-loving listeners out there. If Jeb Bush ends up endorsing Mitt Romney and gets on a Romney-Bush ticket, run away. This is just a continuing cycle over and over and over again. We have had the same people in these administrations for decades. Go back and look at people who worked for Gerald Ford. Go back and look for people who worked for Gerald Ford, and wouldn't you know it, they're still there. Go back and look at who worked for Reagan. They're still there. The same people. We're not having new elections, new governments every 4 years. We're just having a new front man and the same crew. This is absolutely ridiculous. Now, I do want to cover a story coming out of Sweden. Sweden is to go cashless. They're going to be a cashless society. Well, that's pretty big news, actually. If they decide to go cashless, that raises the question, are we next? Now, this is something I don't want you to take lightly. I want you to grasp the magnitude of this. It's not me. It's not like I came up with this. It's just an important topic that I want you to grasp. This is a fight we must stand for. We have to fight against a cashless society. Why? Because a cashless society means that all economic activity is no longer determined by the people in the economy. You understand that? See, right now, what is economic activity? Economies grow through any transaction of goods or services for an agreed upon currency, right? When you go out and you buy something with the money you earn, you are creating economic activity. Whoever sold it to you then makes money, and they go out and spend it, and so on and so forth. Down the line we go. Now, there's going to be people who are going to tell you, well, it works the same with cashless societies. No, it doesn't. It doesn't, because the cashless rate then is determined by everybody but you. You no longer have a driver's seat in the economy. You're still involved in the economy, so a lot of ignorant economic experts are going to say, well, see, it's the same. You're still involved in economic activity, so it's still the same, and it's not. It's not. Also, you are no longer rewarded for your labor. Your labor has no worth or reward anymore. There has to be a transaction for an actual thing. It can't be internet credits. It can't be bank deposits that are only accessed through a debit card. No. No, no, no. Because then you are no longer setting the worth of your labor. Do you understand that? And we're seeing that now anyway, and this is why it's such an important fight. When our money went away from a standard of silver and gold or other precious metal, when it went away from that, we no longer determined how much our labor is worth. Well, yeah, we did, Josh. I could go get a job for $8 an hour. Okay, but how much is that $8 worth? It's not made up by you. It has nothing to do with you. And then they pushed and pushed and pushed, so bartering is becoming more and more of a crime around the nation. So you can't barter either. So you're working to get, let's say, $8 an hour. But today at 2 o'clock, Congress might have a meeting which makes that $8 an hour only worth $7.50. So your labor devalued based on something completely above and beyond your control. So you do not control the price of your labor. And when you don't control the price of your labor, you no longer have an active role in the promotion of the economy. That situation is then magnified when you don't even get dollars for it. When it all becomes some electronic transferred currency, when it becomes a paperless society, you no longer have control at all. So I hope you understand what that means. Now, in addition to that, you're having governments come out and forcing us to buy things, like Obamacare. Now, this is not a topic where I want to dive into Obamacare itself and what care it provides. That's a valid topic for another time, but I just want to take the fact that they're going to require you to buy it, right? So if we have a cashless society, we have an economy that's no longer controlled by you, you have labor that is no longer rewarded to you, you're no longer rewarded for your direct labor, then you take into consideration that governments are going to try to make you buy things, that then turns control of economic activity and economic growth over to the government. Do you get it? It's big, it's deep, so I hope you get it, and I'm not saying it's profound. You don't need a PhD, you just need to think this through. The government then would control the growth or the shrinkage experienced by the economy. It would no longer be up to us. You would become cattle. Nothing more than cattle. How it's supposed to work is you produce a service through your labor, or you produce a good through your craft, and you trade that to somebody for either a service, a good, or a commonly accepted currency. Now, in the past, that could have been sticks. That's where we get the term tally sticks. Okay, we need to tally this up. The king needed a currency that the money changers couldn't get their greedy, dirty little hands on, so they took a stick, they notched it, and then they cut the stick long ways. Half the stick would remain in the castle treasury. The other half of the stick would go out into the economy, and that was the accepted currency. Well, today, it's supposed to be gold, silver, or other metal, or you could trade a service for a service, or a service for a good for a good. And they're trying to get that to go away. And there's going to be a lot of experts on television over the next few weeks telling you, well, we think what Sweden has done is absolutely vital to the recovery of the global economy. And it's not. It's absolutely vital to gain control over the global economy. See, this is the part of the global system that people just don't understand. Governments should not control economies. They shouldn't control interest rates. They shouldn't control federal insurance for deposits. Yes, all of those things are attractive. Yes, all of those things look rosy and smell nice. But the more control they have over the economy, the less control you have. See, what they've tried to do is they've tried to convince us that money is a finite thing, that there can only be so much money. But regulation can be infinite. And in reality, the opposite is true. Money is infinite. We can create more goods, more service, more resources. There's enough for everybody to be wealthy. Matter of fact, Paul Pilzer wrote a book about that. And he details how there's absolutely enough for everybody to be wealthy. Economies grow. It's not one pie. We can make an unlimited number of pies. But what happens is, through government regulation, they start shutting down pie bakeries, in a sense. They start saying, no, we don't want everybody to become wealthy. You need to start blaming your rich neighbors around you. Give us control over the economy, and we'll take care of it for you to make sure you get your fair share. And of course, that's a lie that only a fool would believe. All right, we'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Are you